This is Cora's Landwalker, and tonight we're having another exciting episode of Star Trek Online. That guy's a new guy, that guy's new... Here we go. We are continuing the Romulan adventure for Star Trek Online, although really the Romulan part of everything is well in the rearview mirror now. Now, we're the Romulans working on the behalf of Starfleet. Well, more or less. There's a little spat going on right now, thanks to the rediscovery of a second Dyson sphere in the Delta Quadrant. And that's kind of got some territorial issues going on right now. However, in defiance of what one might expect, we are not going to be continuing in the Dyson sphere tonight. You see, with the next couple of missions in the Dyson sphere arc, we'll be transitioning from the year 2409 to 2410. And it's going to signify some big changes in the storyline. And we're going to ignore that because, well, I just said we're not going to be doing that. And the reason for this is, well, let's step back for a moment. For those who were paying attention at the end of the last stream, they may have noticed that I was at level 64. And today, I'm at level 65. There's a reason for this. I decided to get rid of the bit of XP left between then and now because of certain opportunities that become available at level 65. And it's tied into one of my... Actually, I would go so far as to say my second biggest gripe in the game right now. My biggest gripe in the game was the removal of the Foundry, which was the player-generated content tool, which was responsible for me deciding to stay away from Star Trek Online until I decided that, hey, that'd be a neat thing to do streaming with. But it's the second biggest gripe that I want to get into. You see, when you bring up the list of episodes, you have all these possible episodes in here. There's a lot here. But it's not all the arcs that used to be around. Now, for the most part, a lot of the little mini arcs have been removed from the game entirely, which is offensive, shall we say. They like to take things out and never put anything back in. That bugs me. However, and I'm sure they wanted to, but it would probably cause all kinds of problems for them from the howls of rage that may go up. There were a few other arcs that were, once upon a time, featured episodes. In fact, they were the very first featured episodes the game ever had. There were 4 of them. One of which survives as the... Well, where is that? As part of the Freedom arc for the Romulans. And I believe there is an equivalent for the Federation and for the Klingons. I can't recall for certain, but I'm pretty sure it's still around for them. But they removed the rest from the major storylines here, and that's bugged me, especially since 2 of those arcs tie into stuff that happened later on in the game, and you can be sure that I'll point them out when the time comes. Instead of removing them entirely, however, they made it so that you could get into them through the Available tab. But here's the thing. You couldn't get into them until you were at max level. Which means there was a pretty good chance that by the time I could take all of those, I would have gone well past this point and into the stuff that would kind of intersect with those feature episodes. Now, I have to say that I was extremely irritated by that. I mean, you take away stuff that tie into your newer episodes, and people can't figure out what's going on. It's like, was I supposed to know anything about this? Once upon a time, you did, but they took them out, and now you have. Unless you know what you're doing, you'll never know they're there. The only thing at this point that really conflicts with the ongoing storyline is the nature of Captain Sean. We saw him in the Solonate Dyson Sphere as the captain of the USS Enterprise F. But one of the arcs kind of takes place before he got the Enterprise. So we're just going to kind of paper over his appearances so far. And it's not even going to matter for tonight, because I'm going to try to do them in the order that the feature episode arcs were released. Now, the neat thing about the feature episode arcs, when they first came out way back when, is they had set it up so that they would release one of the missions every week. It would be just like tuning in to watch an episode of Star Trek, which was a really neat thing. Of course, there was a number of weeks that went on between these feature episode arcs, because it was a lot of work. But I have not forgotten their existence, and we are going to undergo some of that tonight. I don't think we'll get through the first arc tonight. I think it'll just be, a couple missions again. Although, you never know, I might be wrong. Before we get into that, though, let's take care of the administrivia. I do still have duty officers to take care of, although their importance has gone down dramatically since I don't need the experience points anymore. Well, let me rephrase that. The experience points are useful in that they could help me towards specialization points, but they're not a priority anymore. Same with the Admiralty thing. I grabbed some of that for extra cash. And admittedly, for the extra XP, that was one of the ways I got myself from 64 to 65. The Admiralty system can really accelerate your leveling curve substantially. One of these days, I know in my heart they're going to nerf that. Also, it's like all my windows got readjusted. I did get an extra reputation out of the way here. Let's collect the reward for Rhymlins, and that will pop me. Oh, that can be tier 3 complete? I think that completes tier 3. Yes. So I'm going to get another batch of traits from this. And since I still have 128 Romulan marks, we're going to keep going. Hey, why not? With the tier 3, I can get reactive shielding or disabling strikes, and these are ground abilities. So we're going to go to my traits. I still don't have any more starship crates. Now, right now, my ground traits are all filled up because I've put in 2 Dyson traits and 2 Rhymlin traits. So I want to see knockdown target on critical hit. That actually sounds like it's really useful right now. I'm going to keep lethality, definitely, so we're going to take care of that. Take that up. And shield healed when I am critically hit. We'll swap out the increased shield hit points, and we'll see if this actually does anything useful. Don't know. I also got some of the Dyson Sphere reputation here. And I'm at 10,000, which means next week I should get the spaceship version of the Dyson stuff. And what that will mean is I'll have to make more choices next time, because this will involve advanced targeting systems and advanced hull reinforcement. I will have to do some serious consideration on that moving. Alright, I believe that's all the administrivia. The first arc kicks off with Cold War. Let's see what Admiral Quinn has to say. We have received a request for aid from the Deferi, a warp-capable species in the Alpha Quadrant. They're located near Cardassian space, and they've reported several attacks on their shipping. Since the Deferi are not as technologically sophisticated as the Federation, and they are asking for help, we should assist them. Head out there to see what you can do. I feel compelled to mention that all the old feature episode arcs, they kind of predated the Romulan Republic's introduction. So back then it was Klingons or Starfleet, so I suspect we're not going to find a whole lot in the way of Romulan-specific dialogue anywhere. So I'm to report to Ambassador Sura in the Defera sector in the Alpha Quadrant, and we will get a, minor amount of XP and expertise because it's basically go there. And nowadays I can just transwarp my way there, so I'm going to do that. Because there's an awful lot of distance between here and there. Why take up the huge amount of the screen watching
the
slowly
Lucari
crawl
call this
across?
system home. Some of our neighbors, like the Deferi and the Denobulans, have been most welcoming.
And you're hearing
Others,
some
like
dialogue
the
from a
Nakul
character I
and the
haven't met
Zenkathi,
yet.
have been somewhat cold and distant, even hostile.
Cold. How ironic. Okay, here we are, and we're getting a message from Ambassador Sura. He was quite impressed with the successful outcome of the recent trade negotiations at Starbase 39 Sierra, and is pleased to invite the Federation to send an envoy to the Defera system for a more formal meeting. I feel that paragraph requires a little bit of elaboration. Also in the distant past, there used to be some diplomacy missions. This predated the whole duty officer thing with the diplomacy aspect. And one of the missions involved was at Starbase 39 Sierra. You could talk to someone there, and they would ask you to try to do some trade negotiations. Well, it's right there. And I'm pretty sure it was Ambassador Sura who was there. Now, some of these missions still exist in the game. I'm not sure if this one does or not, and I'm not heavily inclined to look into that right now. Especially since, I'm not really trying to get huge amounts of duty officer XP anymore. But I invite you to look into it if you are running a character that is trying to max out their diplomacy rep, because diplomacy reputation points never seem to be as abundant as one would like to think. Okay, moving on. This could be a great opportunity for both our peoples. The Federation has requested an alliance with us on several occasions, but my people's adherence to balance has prevented it. Now they are more open to the idea of ties with other worlds. Perhaps your visit will be the start of a lasting friendship between our peoples. Now, as usual, we will get the standard experience points expertise reward and dilithium ore, and we have an interesting choice of rewards here. A cryo grenade, which is actually a small grouping of cryo grenades, which will do kinetic damage and cold damage, which I believe might have a chance of freezing your opponent. Or a polarized parabolic deflector, which is an option in the Breen Absolute Zero set. Once you start getting to the upper levels here, you start getting set rewards, some of which can be acquired by missions, some of which are attached to starships on the sea store, which I think is dirty pool, but that's just me. What this will do is, well, let's see. Slow resistance, starship control expertise, drain expertise, and perception. It's pretty good for a science-oriented sort of ship, but I am not flying a science-oriented sort of ship. I mean, even under my better circumstances. The most I would be dealing with would be the control aspect of the repulsors here. So I'm not entirely sure that's going to be an improvement, but I'll worry about that when we get there. In the meantime, let's accept the mission and go to the Defera system, which I am conveniently at thanks to the transwarp. Transwarp has made life so simple. Ordinarily, I would take the long way, but like I said, I'm streaming. It's not fair to inflict my joy of travel upon the folks watching. The homeworld of the peaceful Deferi. It's been a while since I've gotten to this text here. Defera is a ringed M-class world with a population of approximately 3.8 billion. Deferi value the balance of being close to nature, and many will work in cities but have homes in nearby forests or mountain ranges. In the past 30 years, the Deferi have become concerned that their growing population is out of balance with the resources available on the world. They are increasing colonization of other systems in the region to rectify their population problems. And we have arrived at the Defera system. Standard sensor sweeps showing some recent debris, but no reports from accidents or combat. Tovin is concerned. Why have I not yet replaced that man? The Jessica, I guess that's our escort or transport. Oh, that might be the ambassador's transport. I don't know. Is standing by for the approach to Defera. Shall we begin our escort? Well, you know how it goes. I hate escort quests. Welcome to Defera. May you be blessed with balance. We appreciate the Federation's willingness to meet with us in these trying times. Okay, he does not look like he's moving very quickly, so we're going to try to make sure... Oop, he's going right through a rock. Okay, I guess I can keep pace at... Well, it's not technically full impulse, but... That's kind of a funny thing. I mean, full impulse is when I click the button up here. But in the meantime, I'm moving at impulse 30. I have no idea what impulse 30 means. Except I guess it's 30 better, more than impulse 1. Okay, my math sucks. It's 30 better than impulse 0. Except impulse 0 would be... You know what? I'm not even going to try to follow that logic. They really do need to clean up out here. Oh, there's a shiny and I'm passing it up. That hurts. Curse you for making me escort you instead of grab the shiny... Oh, what's this? Incoming warp signatures. Are we looking at problems here? We are. A plush wreck something or other. Still, he's not shooting at me, so I don't really feel the need to shoot him. Okay, that was interesting. It was running a subspace jammer, so we weren't able to get a lock on it before it warped out. But we are getting a residual warp signature. We might learn more from a detailed scan. Sure, let's scan it. Not enough to get a trail. Well, I didn't really need the help to figure that one out. Okay, back to escort duties. I'm absolutely sure that was just an interesting coincidence and nothing bad is going to result from it. Yeah, that didn't even sound convincing to me. Anyone who's played computer games long enough knows that probably means trouble's coming. It's called being genre savvy. Look it up on TV tropes. Meantime, it looks like we're almost there. We're inside the ring. Well, we've been inside the ring. It's a pretty big ring, actually. Oops. And Jessica is veering off. Let's slow it down. Oh, no wonder. Greetings, Jessica escort ship, RRW Develop. We are required to identify your credentials and verify you are in fact the correct ship prior to granting you access to Defera. Please submit us to a scan at this time. Sure, go for it. Need any help? No assistance is required at this time. Thank you for your cooperation. Our scans are complete. Please provide us with your clearance code before you establish orbit around Defera. You know, that access code looks awfully familiar. Was that one of the possible codes for the vault? Our defense access code is 946W2Q. Oh geez, that is 0 or an O. OS. Oh, I hate this font. I think it's an O. It looks like hour, so. Thank you for the protection and escorts. Your diligence and readiness does you credit. Perhaps later we will be able to learn more about that strange ship. For now, let us discuss the possibility of trade and diplomacy between our peoples. My attaché will send you the planetary coordinates for transport. These coordinates will take you to one of our famous historical parks and preservation sites. I hope you will enjoy your visit to Defera. When you are ready to talk, please meet me on the steps of the historic tower. It will be across the park, past the monument when you arrive. Oh, it sure sounds like a nice place, doesn't it? Let's beam down. Let's hope it doesn't actually look like a hellhole or something like that. We will take the usual suspects. Why change the winning team now? One of these days, though, Tobin's gonna get the heave-ho. I don't know why I haven't done it yet. Maybe I'm just waiting for a suitable replacement. And so we have the agonizing loading screen, reminding me that, yes, there is a whole new patch here with a house shattered thing that we did a couple weeks back. And here we go. Now, you know, I can say nothing bad about Defera. I mean, it looks like a nice place. It's kind of a... Well, I'm horrible with historical architecture. I'm just going to say I know what I like. And I like the look of this place. But before I do anything, well, first let me go back to my sidearm, because it would be really rude for me to be carrying a rifle for a diplomatic mission. And because I am who I am, I must see if there are any shinies that I can find. Show me shinies. Of course, for all I know, it's taking me to crate to open. Okay, it looks like it's a little bit somewhere out there in the wilderness. I am not going out into the wilderness right now. Especially when I'm expected. I really do like the design of this planet. This is just another reason why I really regret them yanking out the Defera arc from the episode sheets. There are many disagreements I have with the decisions being made by the developers sometimes. This is one of the ones that drive me the worst. Drive me nuts the worst. Defera, incidentally, is also the site of a Borg incursion that happens after this episode arc. And perhaps I'll get into that somewhere along the line. It's not exactly a priority. That is a nice... I mean, this gives you a feeling of a populated location, doesn't it? I mean, all these people walking around. Although, when you look at the map, it's pretty tiny. You wonder where they're all going. Oh, that must be where all the ships are landing. I've never noticed that before. I'm so an antenna. Of course, for all I know, it might have been their... might be new. Yeah, right, new. I don't think so. Okay. Ambassador Sura, here we are. Welcome to Defera, honored visitor. This site is the oldest continually inhabited site on my world, and as such, we find it to be the ideal place to welcome visitors. Let's find out a little more about the Defera, shall we? They have an old culture steeped in tradition and respect for all beings. The Makers taught them the concept of balance, and they strive for it in all things. For more than a century, they have remained neutral in their dealings with other worlds, for where there is balance, so also there is truth. Now they are looking to expand, their population growing to a point where they will put a strain on the world's resources. A portion of their people have volunteered to seek new homes among the stars. This, of course, has put us in greater contact with beings such as us. They welcome the new ideas and technology that we have to offer. Perhaps by looking inward for so long, they have become out of balance with the galaxy, and look forward to our help in correcting this. Tell me about the ruins to the east of here. Okay, I'll assume that there were ruins somewhere. We believe that the site to the east of here was once used by the Preservers, because we have located several artifacts that appear to correspond with their technology. For those unfamiliar with Trek lore, Preservers are a big deal. It is thought that they seeded the galaxy so that the preponderance of the population tended to be, well, humanoid. You know, 2 arms, 2 legs, 1 head. Although we do not know for certain, it is our belief that the Fairy were one of the races seeded, didn't I just say all this, throughout the quadrant by the Preservers. They, like us, revered balance and saw life as sacred. They went to great lengths to preserve all life. Tell me more about the balance. Everything must be in balance. One side is dominant over the other. The inequity breeds resentment. The resentment leads to hatred and misunderstanding. I am so tempted to do the whole fear leads to anger thing, but wrong genre there. I mean, similar, but not quite the same. On our world, there is equity in everything. All major decisions are made by polling the populace so that a small group of leaders will not have power over the whole. Persons in what can be deemed leadership positions, like myself, serve at the pleasure of our people. If we abuse our positions, there will be imbalance and will be removed. Tell me about the Preservers. The Preservers were an ancient race that died out some eons ago, but made a great impact on the galaxy in their time. The Preservers would transplant members of races that were threatened by extinction to worlds where they could thrive. The planet Amarant was settled by them, and they brought ancient Terrans there to create a new community. For many years, scientists theorized that the Preservers were responsible for the spread of humanoids across the galaxy. We now know that the Preservers not only transplanted communities, but also created them. The Preservers believed they were alone in the galaxy. In the hopes of creating an ecosystem of races like themselves, they seeded their genetic material on other planets. In this way, they gave their children the companions that they never had. Uh-oh, what's this? Green transporter signatures. Oh, that can't be good. And yes, we are looking at the Breen. Breen that were around for a good bit. I forgot how massive these guys could be. Breen were notable for, most notable I guess, for being in Deep Space Nine, where they kind of beat the tar out of the Federation. Okay, we need to get some of my people back on. There we go. Okay, we seem to be, the whole plate seems to be under attack, because, well, I can see way over there some, I can see some on the map. So there they are, dropping in, causing a ruckus, and making pests of themselves. And it is only right that we be good neighbors and give them the unwelcome welcome. Now, Act soldiers, oh, those are the guys who have freezing grenades. Romulans. So those are the guys I like to get after first. I love my telekinesis. Everyone else in comparison is substantially less dangerous. An engineering module. Medical generator. I wonder if that's better than the one I've got right now. Let's take a quick glance. If it's better than the one I'm using now, then I'm by all means going to make use of it. But seeing as that all my generators are Mark 12s, or, well, see, that's a green Mark 11, and that's a white Mark 12, Mark 13. Oh, now. Can I upgrade this? Do I have anything that'll allow me to upgrade it? No, I don't. It was worth a try. Well, that's okay, though, because I probably wouldn't be able to. What I'd really want to do would be to get it to the point where it was green quality or better. This will do 25.9. This will do 29.3. No, I'm afraid that my green quality, smaller mark value is going to be better than the one that they've given me. Oh, I should probably open this up too. I've got a couple colonists. I can open that up so I can get them in my roster. I have Protonic Polaron dual pistols. I figured since I'm thinking of it, I might as well open up the reputation boxes while I'm thinking about them. And a Romulan plasma wide beam pistol. Let's take a look at my peoples. Wide beam pistol is probably better than what I'm using for my compression pistol, so I'll swap that out. Protonic dual pistols we'll give to Varsal. And we'll give the leftovers to my leftover people. And the rest will end up being sold off. As far as weaponry goes, well, I don't think I'm going to be able to compete with the weapons I've got on here right now. That's a cannon, and that's a cannon. We don't need the cannons. My preference would be for, plasma arcs, but that not here right now. That might come with higher rankings in my Romulan reputation. Maybe. Well, actually, let me take a quick look. There are stores available. No, looks like I cannot do the purchase of those. I'm afraid that I am stuck using the hand weapons. I guess that the unlocks for space weapons. Yep, that's a tier 4. I'll be surprised if I get to that point. But that takes care of that. We have all the equipment to take care of. It's time to take down some more bad guys. Let's slap down some mines. Get a couple of my drones rolling. Slap that down. Curse at my crew for having jumped the gun. Oops, freeze. Ah, there we go. For a minute there, I thought I was being locked off by my own technology. Yeah, those ice grenades are nasty stuff. Okay, we got more ahead. We got these tacticians, which look like they're a little tougher than the other guys. I'm sorry, I can only pronounce some of these things so many times before I can just give up. Let's pop a turret down here to bring the pain. And thanks to my duty officers, I got 2 from there. Not bad. Took care of that crew pretty quick. one more group inside the city. Then apparently we've got some folks on the outskirts who are going to need our attention. Oops. Well, all the way back there we've got Mr. Cold Grenade who's staying too far back there. I find that a good thing because I really didn't want to have to deal with more ice grenades. Alright. Now I'm sure it's just a coincidence that these guys are landed to the east where they said these ruins were. I'm sure that's just a coincidence. I didn't believe that either. Alright, let's see. Tactician. Tough guys, but at least they're not ice grenade throwers. Whoa, man, you pulled 3 out on that one. Thank you, duty officers. Oh, looks like they've got icy stuff too. Oh, that group wasn't so tough. And there's another group, let's see. Tactician's their heavy hitter there, so... let's drop our turrets, drop our drones, and fire some plasma. Or, you know, weapons of choice. Oh, some guys with medical generators. Didn't help them very much. Alright, that worked out well, didn't it? Romulans. How unfortunate some of you have managed to survive the destruction of your homeworld. Hey! They do have Romulan-specific dialogue. We'd hoped the galaxy would finally have been rid of you. You are weak, pathetic, and you should know better than to oppose us. We will wrest the Preserver's secrets from this place, and we will destroy anyone who stands in our way. Ladies and gentlemen, FotR's, master of villain dialogue. Oh great, they've got 2 of those guys. Let's hit them hard. Oh, that's FotR's. Yeah, that's not good. Let's see if I can call for help and get one of my people to revive me before they get killed. Oh, that's a bad place for me to end up.
Enemy targets on center.
Okay, cover shield. Let's get some Oh great, now there's just me. Well, the good news is Gwen is down. The bad news is... okay, let's start getting some of my people back up. Obviously, it's not safe for me to remain here given the threat of further attacks. I agree, what now? He will return to the Deska and will be of best use there. And more ships are warping in. We need to go there. Not yet though, because, well, first we're getting rid of that border that's dropping ice bombs on us. And then I want to get at least the loot thing here. Interesting patterns here. So this is the ruin they're talking about. It's not what I expected. I've got a quantum mortar. Will that be any better than some of the stuff I'm using now? I'm willing to try it out. We're going to replace the mine to the quantum mortar, and we will see whether or not it does interesting things. In the meantime, I'm going to upgrade Shayla's armor to the Mark 12 here. And I'm going to upgrade Barcel's as well, since he's 2 marks behind. Okay, I think we've done all we can here. I could, but I'm not. This is a decent sized map, and it'll take me more time than it's worth. Okay, transport us back to the ship. It's time to deal with the danger. It's a safe bet that that ship we detected before was probably a green scout. And they're attacking the Jessica. It's time to intervene. Let's go to tactical postures. Oh, come on. There's only 3% left. You can take him down. Let's hit him with the bonus blast. That had hurt. Factor beams, naturally. Green are all about slowing you down. They will drain your power supply. They will hit you with tractor beams. They will use ice on the ground. They're definitely all about that sort of thing. Let's get them all off the fire. Shield's taking a little more pounding than I want. And they're multiplying those tractor beams. It's going to make life challenging. Let's use my quantum singularity stuff. Well, the singularity, not the quantum. See about getting out of some of this mess. One behind me. Be my guest. That's where all the plasma torpedoes are. Yeah, when you start getting lots of tractor beams on you, it really gets annoying. And yet, they're still not as bad as the ship for the Romulans that drops those tractor mines. Of course, the tractor mines have the benefit of being one-shot kills, whereas enemy starships, they're a little bit more durable. Ooh, taking more hits than I want. Time for Miracle Worker to get me. It's been a while since I've given someone a heavy plasma torpedo. Ever since I used the front one for chronotons. One of these days I should go into detail as to the difference between all these torpedoes. For that matter, I should probably go into detail about the difference between some of these weapons. Someday on a rainy day, perhaps. First, though, we're going to take care of...
Core shields failing.
Oh, it's not over yet. And now we've got a guy who's a little bit bigger and a little bit tougher. Let's see if I can throw some of the boarding party guys on board. Boarding party guys on board, that was good. Oh, they're icing up my ship. And you know what? These guys got it tough. I am not doing a whole lot of damage to his shields. He's got a bit of oomph behind him, don't he? Yeah, he's definitely got some toughness behind him. This is going to be some work. Power to help keep my ship together because, well, look at him. The guy's tearing me apart. This is going to be a battle of attrition. I'm going to go off my combat mode for a minute. And I'm going to use my other weapon, which theoretically should help drain some of this. Oh great, he's got fighters. He's got fighters too. Well, this just gets better and better, doesn't it? Good news is the bad guy is down to 65%. The bad news is I'm about 65%. And my shields are in worse shape than his. This is turning out to be a substantial battle here. Not that I have a problem with it. Far from it. I mean, it is a kind of fight that feels like you could lose, but you could also feel that you could probably win. It's a lot better than some of the other fights that occur later in the game, where you feel like you're having your hind end kicked no matter how much you try. This feels like one of those battles that can go either way. And maybe it's pride talking, but I'm not going to be calling in for my reinforcements yet. On the other hand, why ignore resources? That's called reinforcements. Oh, not good. Oh, a double. I'm not double D at the Apex. I think that's a slightly higher tier double Ds. But yeah, that seems to have been a step too far for this guy. Oh, and he's got the triple plasmas. Thank you for helping out. The Breen don't attack at random. There's more going on here than what the Fairy are telling us. That's awfully untrusting, Varsol, and I think you're absolutely right. Being held by the Jessica. Put it on screen. Thank you for the assist. We took some damage, but it's nothing that a few days in space dock won't fix. My friend, I have not been completely honest with you. Shock. I fear my actions are out of balance with the universe. I think we should speak face to face. Do I have your permission to come aboard? Permission granted. Now, I have a sneaking feeling that we might actually end up in a place that almost is never used anymore. I'm not 100% sure, so, we'll wait for the screen to load in here. But if I'm right, this'll... Well, actually, if I'm right, it's going to be even crazier because I'm on a Romulan ship. And what I'm going to see is probably not going to look Romulan. But I could be wrong. We'll find out momentarily. Go, loading screen, go. Notice anything odd about this architecture? If you said, that's not Romulan, you'd be right. This is Starfleet. And it's even crazier because I'm pretty sure that the Klingons... Well, actually, I don't think the Klingons actually do this. The Klingons doesn't have go on the screen, I think. This is the observation lounge, and it used to be a much bigger deal than it is because it was a component in first contact missions, which were an aspect of the diplomacy missions, which are no longer in the game. So this will probably be the only time you get to see the observation lounge of a Starfleet vessel, even though I'm not technically in a Starfleet vessel. What you got, Ambassador? Honorable Ally, I apologize for my secrecy, but at the time it was the best course of action. This is not the first time the Breen have attacked Defera. Their aggression has increased in recent weeks, and we have been unable to either stop them or open a diplomatic dialogue. The Federation has always promised to be our ally in a time of need. While we prefer to remain neutral in your conflicts, we have looked favorably upon the Federation's actions. You seek to maintain peace and stability throughout the Alpha Quadrant. And Beta. Don't forget the Beta Quadrant. Now we are in need of your help. The Breen are attacking our ships and colonies without provocation. Hundreds have already died, and I fear that more lives will be lost unless we have your assistance. My people face destruction. I cannot believe that the balance of the universe requires us to die. I will be in contact with you again. I can only hope that your efforts will tip the balance in our favor. If there is anything else you would ask of me, or if you need greater understanding of my people, please do not hesitate to ask. Well, let's see. We've pretty much covered everything here. So, yeah, we're done. I was wondering if there's other two were going to go. Ambassador Sura has returned to Jessica and requests we contact him once we've left the system. Well, sounds like a plan to me. Depart system. Now, we have an option here for Jiro Sugihara. Or we would if he had, called me right now. You are a friend to the Fairy. We will speak again, and it is my fondest hope that you will be able to repair the balance and save my people from the Breen. Then we can have a long-lasting and peaceful alliance. We will speak again soon. Alright. Let's take a look at my current deflector. That will inform whether or not I grab this one. Well, I kind of like the hull capacity and shield capacity. So we're going to go with grenades. Now, fun fact, you can beam down to Defera And if you're really lucky, you can find a vendor that sells more of those grenades. At least it used to be. A lot's changed since the last time I did that, so heaven only knows. Now, when this arc was first put in, they included a daily where you could aid the Teferi and go to various systems and basically just beat up Breen. We're not really interested in the dailies, though. We are more interested. Oh, I'll just take a quick look at it just to show the rewards. Well, you know what? Rewards aren't bad. I mean, the experience points and the expertise are eh. But the dilithium ore reward, I can understand how that would get the attention. That's basically a little more than an eighth of the amount that you can refine in a day. But like I said, that's not our goal. Our goal is the Cold War arc. So we are going to go out in the cold. We have lost contact with 2 transports en route to the outer colonies. There are more than 400 Teferi on those vessels, and with the rising threat from the Breen, I fear the worst. Their last known location was near VZA-4001, and I suggest that you start your search there. The Breen have no compunction against attacking civilian ships. We seek peace with the Breen as we do with all beings, but they answer our offers of friendship with death and destruction. Find our ships, and if there are any survivors, please bring them home safely. We are looking at the usual rewards of XP, expertise, dilithium, and a special type of torpedo. One that does not have a mark value to it, but is a transphasic cluster. Basically, you launch the torpedoes, and when it reaches a destination, it blows up into 10 level 1 mines. That's not bad. But there is one kind of flaw. These don't really work well with the torpedo abilities, like torpedo spreads and high yields. However, since it's the only additional reward for this, it's not like I get a choice but to take it. Maybe I'll replace my rear torpedo with it. Don't know. Worry about later. In the meantime, let's talk to Jiro Sugihara, who has something to say about this sector. The Breen are putting a great deal of pressure on the Teferi. It seems the Teferi's situation is more volatile than we previously thought. A 3-way conflict between the Breen, the Federation, and the Klingon Empire could be a disaster for the entire quadrant. Continue to aid the Teferi when they request assistance, but do not provoke hostility from the Breen. Yes, Jiro, sorry about that. I'm afraid that we might be a little late on that one. We'll keep trying to find a diplomatic solution. Oh, also, the Klingons are respecting the neutrality of the Teferi. For now. Don't do anything to jeopardize this. Oh, no promises. They shoot us, we'll shoot back. In the meantime, let's go to VZA-4001. Let's see what we can discover. Luckily, it's not a very long trip. Yeah, see that those Teferi patrols? I'm pretty sure they're associated with the daily that I was remarked upon. There's a couple of things about it. Maybe we'll do one patrols at some point. VZA-4001 is an uninhabited star system. 3 planets of the system were destroyed approximately 5,200 years ago, when one of the 2 stars in the system collapsed, creating a black hole. The gravitational pull from the black hole was at an angle from the planets, and the gravitational shear tore the planets apart. This area is on the major trade route for the Teferi Center. Does that really sound like a great idea? I mean, having your trade route through an area with a black hole seems like a poor decision. Well, we are not here to tell other people what to do. They want to travel across a black hole. More power to them. I wonder how they deal with the time dilation. I saw Interstellar. That can't be good. Of course, Interstellar is not Star Trek. Star Trek is not exactly what you'd call hard science. Ah, we are receiving an emergency distress signal from the ferry freighter Savak. Passing it through the main view screen. To all ships in range, this is the ferry freighter Savak. We are under attack and require immediate assistance. We have no weaponry aboard, and our shields are failing. Anyone who can hear this, please help. Must be one of the boarding raiding parties. You think? I'll get there fast. There won't be anyone left to save. We can engage on my command. Now, see, they did a pretty nice job on this map too. Kind of gives you a feeling of not right to it. Let's go to combat configuration. Oops. And I'm also going... Oh, there's Savak, and oh, there's the enemy. Let's take advantage of the element of surprise. You know, the element of surprise really didn't do as much as I was hoping. Alright, no more Mr. Nice Guy. Weapon is 243. So I kind of like to be turned around before I start popping off with the plasma bullets. Okay, it's attacking on it. Yeah, there we go. Plasma bullets. Alright. Hit him! Oh, that was a fat lot of nothing. And I am getting wrecked by these guys. Yeah, hit him on the unshielded side. A little more. Oh. That's the problem when you're a fast-moving ship. You find yourself out firing the shield arc that you want to hit. On the right side, it does look like he's just waiting to fall over, so let me try to encourage it. Lined up where I can hit all those phaser cannons, sorry, plasma cannons. And yet, once again, it's not quite enough. And that is it for the bad guys. You're welcome, Freighter Savak. Thank you for saving us. Our sister ship, the Pactau, was waylaid by green raiders at our scheduled rendezvous point. We made a micro-warp jump as soon as the green arrived and used the magnetic field of the comet to hide our energy signature. But the green have better sensors than we do. They found us. If you hadn't come along when you did, we would have been obliterated. I'm worried about the green being at our next stop, so I want to try to get there ahead of schedule and be gone before they arrive. If you could, please find the Pactau. There were dozens of people aboard that ship. And right on cue, this is the ferry ship Pactau. We escaped from a green slaver attack, and our antimatter containment unit and warp coils are non-functional. We need some replacement parts immediately. We're on the edge of a warp core breach. Is there any ship in range? Please, we need help. Oh, I have good news for you guys. Help is on the way. So these are comet chunks. Interesting. And there's Pactal. And with any luck, they're not being shot at. Beam parts aboard. And we have green ships inbound. 2 waves. Oh, it never rains but it pours, right? Where are the bad guys? Kelgret Cruiser. That's a new one. We didn't run into those guys before. You know, I was really hoping we'd do a lot more damage with that strike. They're hitting us a little harder than I thought. Now, see, that's the nice thing about boarding parties. You send a boarding party, they can sometimes do a lot of damage to subsystems of the opposing ship. And while most of those subsystem damages aren't really all that impressive, it is impressive when it happens to be the shield systems, because then all their shields go down, and you make a mess out of them. I mean, sure, they can kill the engines, and they're going to dead stop, but if you're moving around, you have a hard time seeing if they're moving or not. Auxiliary, you really don't see any benefit off of that, draining my power supply. And then there's weapons, of course, but again, that's a hard thing to measure in fights sometimes. Oh yeah, that plasma lotus did a great job on it. Of course, I need to keep in mind that this is just wave 1. There is another wave still waiting in the wings. Yes, naturally, the strong shield will be the shield that I'm attacking now. Come on, guys, you're killing me here. I admit that's a mild exaggeration there. Not actually. It's quite the opposite. Oh, for pity's sake. What is it going to take to blow this guy up? You're sitting at like 4% or less for quite a long time. And he's repairing. Finally. Sheesh. Try to get back to the Pactal. Whoops. Oh, it's that guy again. The Sarthelm warship. This was that extremely highly durable enemy ship. Let's go with attack on inversion. This will hopefully do a job on the shields. side. That's where I need to get less hits on my weak side. Oh! That was almost getting ugly. Stick back to combat. Let's get the boarding parties over there because I think I can use some help.
Target shield.
Oh, timing. Too bad it didn't take you down longer. Good news is the shields are going down a lot easier than the guy that we fought over to Farah, so. We've got that going for us. I do believe the guys spawned fighters. I was hoping that would clear off some of the moving, but I guess not. And things are getting ugly. I really should have paid more attention to using quantum heal as opposed to. Let's make use of cloaking devices. Try to get some of that hull heal coming back. Are those things following me? I hope they're not following me. Because if they were following a cloaked ship, I would be really, really annoyed. They're following me. That's not good. Okay, uncloak and let them have it. Miracle worker, just in time for it to be over. That's okay though, because we needed that. Thank you for your fortunate assistance. We should be fine from here. I want to catch up with our sister ship, the Sabak. They fled the first sight of the Green Raiders. We heard some of the slavers who attacked us talking about the Zarya system. If you want to take care of the brain menace for good, you might want to start by looking for them there. Course laid in. Doesn't seem like there's anything of interest. Broken planetoid. The games are out of date though, so you know things could have changed. Yeah, like Queen could have set up shop there. So off to the Zarya system. But it looks like we'll have to hoof it there. No biggie, it's close by. Relatively speaking. Just a little bit across the sector barrier, so we're no longer in the Defera sector when we get there. Zarya. Alpha Zarya 30 is a hot G-class star that is similar to the star at the center of the Sol system. But it was not always so. It was a cooler class K in the early 22nd century. The fairy scientists believe that the neutral metals in the core of the star came in contact with the source of protomatter, igniting the star and increasing the core temperature. The resulting explosion destroyed the two worlds in close orbit with the star. Yeah, I sure hope those worlds weren't inhabited. The destroyed planet has a dilithium-rich core. Well, that's got... Oh, they've also got squadrons around. It looks like the Breen have set up a mine inside the remains of the planetoid, and true to form, they're using all the captured Deferi as slave labor. We need to defeat the Breen pickets before we can beam down. But it looks like it's only a small force. Yeah, I've heard that song and dance before. Combat stance and cloak. We have at least 2 Kelgret warships. Dangerous, but hardly the most dangerous out there. If I'm lucky, if I'm really lucky, we can get a pretty good alpha strike on this guy. Oh, we did not get as good an alpha strike as I hoped on the guy. We hurt each other roughly the same amount. He was tracking where the heck we went. There we go. You know, for some of these situations, it's just screaming for me to use the ramming speed abilities. That'll wipe out my ship too, so. What I really need are torpedoes that recharge faster. Let's be smart, so let's use the quantum healing in this. I was hoping that round would do him in. Up, and adding insult to injury, it looks like the other guy seems to have woken up. Oh, hopefully that guy will chase me a little bit. Okay, he's a little more durable than his buddy was. Good news is we're still holding our own. They're tough, but... Oh, that's not good. Target shields may have failed, but they're still in pretty good shape, all things considered. Besides, it's not their shields I want to see broken. It's their hull. And right now, their hull is better than mine. One has to admire the amount of hull that they've got available. As annoying as these guys are, they are hardly the most annoying opponent in the game. We'll be meeting them not horribly distant. It'll be well after the feature episode arcs that we're demonstrating. Oops, that was not the button I wanted to hit. Oh well, I still have my Miracle Worker up and available, so... But if you want you to get the impression that these guys are nothing but sack and health, you may not be wrong. You know, I used to be able to do something that will allow me to see their relative health. There we go, 161 hull. Now we'll compare with me, who has... Well, it's actually not telling me, is it? Oh well. I should be right. We are winning. More or less. Finally. With any luck, the frigates will be easier. We'll go and close. Be very, very quiet. We're hunting frigates. Quote from Captain Fudd. Arm the wide torpedoes. Arm the cannons. We'll go out of combat so we can use the attacking Cyclone and go! You know, the plan looked a lot better on paper. Get over the distance. Turn around. That's one frigate down. That might have been a little bit rougher than I planned on, though. That quantum damage ability, it really has never been as impressive as maybe they wanted it to be. I mean, it wasn't all that great even against the low tier opponents, but now it's even less impressive. We can get that last 10% down. Just the frigate. There we go. And that leaves one more group. The good news is they're also frigates. So hopefully it won't be as horrible as it could be. With any luck, I haven't just successfully taunted fate like that. Usually an unwise decision under most circumstances. Okay.
Shield failed.
Oh, please, let's get that guy down fast. Yeah, there we go.
Target shield.
Around. Multiple tractor beams really are annoying. I think that might be the big verdict on the green right there. Maybe not entirely dangerous, but annoying. Oops, bouncing off the rocks. Glacial. I've destroyed a huge amount of green ships apparently, or at least enough to get that accolade.
Target shield.
Let's give him something else to think about. That was a pretty good quantum shadow. 5 versions of it. That was a significant fight. Last of the scouts. Well, unfortunately, we can't just beam up to the ferry. They've got some sort of transporter disruptor field in place. We need to get down there, disable it before we can rescue the slave laborers. Yeah, I guess that works out. Beam us down. And we have the slow loading screen again. With any luck, we should get into the underground facility any year now. There we go. Once we get to that magic 30, life gets easy. That's what it is, as bad as Windows progress bars. Sensors are showing that the Breen are using 3 separate transport disruptors, key to ferry physiology. Disruptors won't stop us or the Breen, but we need to knock them out before we can transport prisoners back. Once we've neutralized the Breen guards, there's no way left to re-enable the disruptors. Well, you know, I like that strategy. And there are the captives. I guess when they're not busy mining, they just store them in cans. The cells are tied to the transport inhibitors. Shut one down, shut down the other. Makes sense. And there are other additional Teferi life signs on other levels. Based on preliminary readings, all cells are connected to the same mechanism. Well, that's good. That means we knock something out down here, we get everything. So, we're going to swap to the rifle now because there's no reason for me to be diplomatic. And even though we are completely underground, I am still going to call an orbital strike because, hey, why not? I didn't mean to do quantum mortar. I meant to get another drone. Oops. Okay, there are 8 slave masters. Whoa! I did not expect that. Whoa, this guy.
Damage detected. Personal shield losing go.
Okay, that's not good. Shield generators, medical generators. That sounds like ooh, ooh, ooh. Oh, the good news is most of my people are still standing. Unfortunately, poor Varsal took the brunt of that. Walk it off. There, yeah, walk over here. Oh, no, he's already healed up. Yay, medics! Let's get the drone out. Oh, move, move, move. Yeah, I knew I'd be pushing it if I went into the freeze area, but figured we needed to. Whoa, other one. Harvestable. Must harvest. Tritanium. I don't see that very often. Now I might be able to make a couple more pads for training manual purposes. Turn off transport inhibitor, S1. 2 to go. Still lots and lots of potential hostiles. Let's drop another big one on them. Maybe that'll soften up whoever's around the corner. Oh, what do you know? Maybe it did. Alright, we are making progress. More baddies. Let's prep the battlefield a little bit. And let's toss off the mortar too so we can start bringing the pain. Oh, we don't want that medical generator working. I'm the only one allowed to use medical generators. We can't let the bad guys use them. Yes, it's so unfair. Actually, I'll take medical generators any day over those hard lightnings the Cardassians use. You know, I'm beginning to think that this planetoid may not necessarily be stable. Okay, looks like we have another inhibitor we can bring down. And looks like we have more bundles of fun over there. Let's see if I can get a bunch of them within orbit. Okay, I'll just wait the extra 10 seconds. 5. And drop bomb. Nice thing about... Man, he's got a throwing arm. Throwing that grenade all the way back there. Oh, they went down a lot faster than I expected. Inhibitor? That's the last of the inhibitors. Trionium gas. Well, it's not tritanium, but it is harvestable, and I cannot pass that up. Alright, so there's one more group to go with, and then it's easy sailing. Yes, I did just taunt fate. You would think that by now I would learn not to do that.
Shield losing power.
Gotta adore the long-range weapons. And a force field, which is why we couldn't go in this way. I saw all the disruptors and guards, but we're getting a new contact around the station. We've gotten the curiosity of the Marine commander. We better get the ferry out of here first. It looks like the ferry are out of here. And that bothers me, so I'm going to prep the battlefield now. Because I sense great trouble in the near future. We've gotten them all. We're clear to return. You are the one known as Tellel? I was expecting someone more impressive. After all, Thot Wen was one of my most reliable veterans. Defeating him must have pushed you to your limits. I'd like to say I'm looking forward to meeting you in person, but because I expect Thot Grand to end your life here, I'm afraid that won't be possible. Thot Trell, I'm going to remember your name. You've been interesting, but ultimately insignificant. Farewell. Oh no, you don't. Luckily, he managed to land right in the middle of where I have just about every one of my weapons, so... Oh, nuts. He's managed to take down everybody. That ain't good. Oh, thank heavens. Oh, we still have a... Okay, that's dirty pool. We've taken care of the officer in charge. This entire mining facility should fall apart. But who sent that message? Thot Trell? Could he be the one who's behind all the problems the ferry are having? We'll need to look into this in more detail, sir. The Federation should be able to send patrols to ensure the Marine don't set up shop here again, or perhaps we will be able to convince the ferry to surrender the rights of this dilithium mine to us. Well, sure, the Romulan Republic has had no trouble staking claims where they don't really belong. We can leave whenever you're ready. Well, not yet, because I want to make sure. Yeah, that's what I thought. There's a good loot drop over here, and if it's good, I want to know what it is. Shields! Is this better than the one I'm using now? Yes. Yes, it is. It doesn't have as much resistances, but it has more capacity, and I'm all for more capacity. Let's see. Who would use... Well, nobody's really screaming out for a better shield, except you. And technically speaking, there's probably less 287 versus 271. Yeah, sorry. We'll give it to moving. Sooner or later, I'm going to start filling these slots up. You just wait and see. We've already found all the good armor here. Except for moving again. So moving, we upgrade your weapon too. Because we care. Is everybody? Yeah, I think we already determined everybody was using some good weapons. We'll give it to Vex this set of weaponry. And yeah, that's pretty much it. The kit that I got is a quick fix kit. They're great for, you know, buffing the fabrications and all that, but I'm thinking that we're okay. That's not impressive enough to really get into using. Let's beam it out. Alright, let's hail the ambassador. The survivors are on their way home, and we will be sending an expedition out to assess the viability of operating the mines ourselves. That's fair. I think it would be wise to consider a joint operation with your government. The resources in the Zaria system are rare, and the best way to maintain the balance may be to share them with you. Thank you for your assistance. Your actions help preserve the balance. So, we'll pick up all the rewards here. Now, ordinarily, I would be leery about doing another mission, but I'm pretty familiar with the next mission. And you'll see we've got a couple more dailies here that I've opened up to now. First, though, we'll talk to Jiro and see if he has anything else to say. We need to discuss the nefarious situation. I understand the Breen are acting as aggressors, but it's not the Federation's place to get involved. Well, that's okay, I don't really work for you, technically. We cannot afford another Bajor, especially while we are engaged on so many other fronts. Yeah, well, you know, the Breen have been enslaving Teferi, you know. I know the Federation is not deaf to their plight, but we should not interfere with the Teferi's affairs in their own space. The Teferi brought us into their conflict under false pretenses. Now we must find a diplomatic solution so that we do not become embroiled in another war. Let me be perfectly clear. Starfleet must not precipitate another conflict. Exercise discretion in that sector. Yeah, we'll see how well that works out. Okay. Cold Comfort. This is one of the more unusual missions that you'll run into in this game. Period. We are receiving a distress signal in the Rava system. A Teferi transport weathered a Breen attack. They've taken heavy casualties and are requesting immediate assistance. My people do not have military ships, Admiral, and I am loath to send a lightly armored rescue vessel into such a dangerous situation. Please, you must do whatever you can to help them. Rewards: XP, expertise, and dilithium, and one of the following. Either a crate of Teferi snow tubers. I realize that doesn't sound very impressive, but if you're a tribble breeder, do not ignore this. Because a tribble that eats this, if it's the right kind, will turn into a special kind of tribble. I'll let others go into the details on that, because tribble breeding was never my thing. More interesting, however, is the Rapid Reload Transphasic Torpedo Launcher. This I like because of the keyword Rapid Reload. This may very well replace those Chronotons real soon. So let's go to Rava. Rava, fortunately, is also reasonably close by. Ordinarily, I would be taking some time to do duty officer mission stuff, but like I said, once you hit 65, the need to do it drops substantially. I mean, there are benefits, but I'm not that interested. Brava is a binary system with a blue dwarf star and an orbit of a much larger Class B star. Light from the two stars should make it much warmer than it actually is, but a thick layer of theta radiation in the upper atmosphere reflects much of the energy from the stars, keeping average surface temperatures on the planet low. Low? That may not be good. They do tend to attract things like Breen. More than 70% of the landmass is covered with snow and ice for the majority of the solar year. Keep that in mind if we have to land on it. Painful, slow loading. It will be done someday. Honest. There we go. I mean, sheesh, it's not that complicated a map. We are being hailed. Thank you for responding to our distress call. We were boarded by the brain and have taken severe casualties. We could use any medical aid you could render. Please approach and beam over as soon as you can. We can do that. Yeah, we've already done that dialogue. I don't know why it's still there. Please beam over any medical supplies and personnel you can spare. We will send your transporter chief the coordinates of to our trauma center. Here we are. Diplomacy, sidearms. And we have here Dr. Casa. By the balance, you couldn't have arrived at a better time. I need every available person to help the patients. I think the Breen take pleasure in causing pain. Few of our crew were killed, but many have been injured. If you want to help, I need someone at table 7. Take the patient's medical history and try the injury. If it's a minor issue, go ahead and treat them so we can make room for another patient. Okay, so we're going to let the engineer play doctor. Well, we've done stupider things. Please, it hurts. Help me. Okay, what hurts? Left side. Disruptor hit from a green rifle. Need something for the pain. Do you have any allergies? Metorofan. Don't do Metaphorofan. Metorofan. Are you taking any medication? Well, let's see what this says. Treatment for disruptors. As I'm not even going to try pronouncing half of the stuff. Once they're stable, we can treat the hit directly with protoplaser, which will fix the damage to the cellular structure. Are you taking any medications? No, do I look like I should be? No, we won't go there. Treated for anything related to this? How often do you think I'm shot by a brain? What were we doing before we were injured? Repairing a power conduit on deck 2 when the brain came out of engineering and shot it. Not even a chance for surrender. When was the last time you ate? Midday. Why haven't you given me something for the pain? Okay, so we know that we don't want to do Metorofan because, well, they're allergic. And that would have been bad. Okay, so next step is to go over here and grab a hypospray. Analgesics. Let's try the STO. That's for sports related. Yeah, I don't think so. Let's try another one. Picaridine. Decreasing pain with serious trauma injuries. You know what? This feels like an extreme trauma. And it talks about being a substitute. Yeah. But let's check the other ones too, because I don't want to. Spinal, cranial, that's not going to do it. Morphinolog, chronic pain, no, that's not going to do it. Nope, it's going to be the Picaridine. Loaded into hypospray. Use spray. Excellent. Pain is the kicking in. Well, kicking out. Protoplaser to fix the injury. Be healed. Now get out. Get off the table and get back to work. We're busy. Nobody accused me of having a great bedside manner. I'm a captain, not a... Good work with that last patient. Has anyone ever told you have a talent for medicine? No. I think I think that you might want to re-examine the whole balance thing there, because that is clearly the statement of someone who is not balanced. Even unbalanced. Table 3. Okay, let's do table 3. What's your problem? Mother, is that you? I'm thinking brain injury. An older boy named Tosca used to take my favorite toys when I brought them to school. If you tried to fight him to get them back, he'd break the toys. Yeah, you know what? I'm thinking that we're not going to get anything out of him useful. He used to play in the mud every time it rained. You've been treated? Yeah, I'm thinking that he's disoriented and unaware. Might be a symptom of brain trauma, but we can't rule out a psychological breakdown until we do a mental status check. It could have been distress. Mother, is that you? Do you know your name? Had a doll. You know the time. Not helpful. You know where you are. Not helpful. You know what year it is. Not helpful. Definitely something up with his mental status. Scan the brain tissue for trauma. Hyperencephalogram. I hope I pronounced that right. To reveal if there's any damage. Whoa, what's this? Tell me about the preservers? Oh, this just got interesting. I'll run all the way. Ooh, harvestable. The hell with him. Let me harvest that. Oh, that is so wrong. Okay, let's grab the scanner. Go back to the table. Examine his brains. Oh, that ain't good. There's a cortical implant in his brain causing disorientation and delusions. There's a high amount of neuroactivity in the area around the implant. Maybe, if we were able to decrease the activity with an aesthetic, the patient would be more responsive. Oh, you know what? This is probably a bad sign. Okay, let's see what we can do with this guy. Medkit. Medkit. Oh, there we are. Medkits. Anesthetics. Anesthetine. Incapacitates, no, we don't need that. Anetrazine. Calming hyperactive nerve impulses. And has been known to interfere with cranial implants. You know what, I don't even have to look at the rest. Anything that monkeys with the cranial implant is a plus in my book. Of course, it also occurs to me that, you know, I should have probably checked, well, I'm not going to be able to find out if he has any allergies, am I? And the worst thing I can do is accidentally kill him. Oh, here we go. He remembers the brain attack. There was a medic. Seems sad. The brain implanted with a cortical implant and forced you to relive memories of his past. He wants it out of his head. I don't blame him. Yeah, we should talk to Dr. Casa to figure out what to do here, because, you know, I have a feeling that this is something that an actual doctor should do something about. He is not familiar. That figures. But they have some captured brain, and maybe we can question them and find out how to reverse the process. They captured brain, and they didn't think to tell me. Well, to be fair, I guess the casualties were kind of more important, but still all the same. Some notes. There are ways to handle interrogations. They are a warrior race. They do what is expedient and will often take prisoners rather than kill. It is only logical to put their duty above all. They survive, but they do not live as we do. They are concerned with personal honor. Do not insult the Green's honor or suggest that they kill without cause, and you should be okay. I'll try to remember that. Let's see if this guy will be willing to say anything. What are you looking at? What's your name? Look at you cowering this shadow of FotR's. What hope could the fairy possibly have against might like his? I will not answer your questions. Go bother someone else. Tell me about FotR's. Heh, well, I guess you will tell me something else. FotR's has more power and vision than a pathetic being like yourself can possibly comprehend. The Deferi will be the first to fall to his might. They will not be the last. He will not stop until the entire Alpha Quadrant serves the Green Confederacy. Someday, soon, I will stand on the blasted remains of your homeworld and celebrate our victory. I will grind the remains of your leaders into dust under my boot heels. FotR will be the man that makes this possible. It's good to have a dream. They have a whole lot of empty cells. Oh, here's another one. Torture me if you wish, but I will never betray the Confederacy. What is your name? What is your quest? I'm sorry, that's a different that's a different genre entirely. And looks like we got Prisoner 3. No, that's not Prisoner 3, that's a Teferi. Prisoner 3. I'm here to let you go. What is your name? I am Tran. Well, right there we've already gotten improvement. What are you doing here? He was a combat medic. He serves the Breen Confederacy. He was ordered to go to this system by superiors. He's sure he's found others. Okay, what are you doing here? I am currently incarcerated in the Ferry Brig. Yeah, this guy is definitely a trained, I was captured near the bridge when my boarding party was overwhelmed by the ferry's security teams. While this ship may not be carrying personnel, a 3-man boarding party stands no chance against 4 fully armed security teams, defending their ship and their captain. We gave away the terrain advantage, and now we are paying the price. He must have known this wasn't a military ship. Why do you attack it? He doesn't feel comfortable continuing this conversation because his commanding officer is in a nearby cell and can overhear everything. He doesn't agree, but he respects his position of authority. Hey, no problem. We can take care of this. Guess what? We're going to make your cell soundproof. Audio signals leaving and entering are being blocked. Come on, tell me again how you're going to wipe out New Romulus. What? What's that? I can't hear you. I shouldn't taunt a guy like that. Of course, what I shouldn't do and what I do are not necessarily the same thing. Yeah, your commander can't hear what we're saying now, so let's continue our conversation. My superior thought that these Teferi civilians might have the information for which we have been searching. While I might have disagreed with his choice of target, it is not a soldier's place to question his commanding officer. I think my dissension was the reason I was selected to join the assault. A dangerous task in the best of circumstances and the one that had the least chance of success. Did you object to your commanding... let's see. No. Did you object to your commanding officer? The other two sound like I might be, poking the bear. Someone like you couldn't understand, but in the Breen Confederacy, we obey our commanders. No, don't take it personally. I may not always be pleased by what I am ordered to do, but I understand that there is a goal that must be achieved, and that I may not have all the facts that my superiors do. Do you believe the goal you are attempting to achieve is worth killing civilians? Man, I figured I had a 50-50 shot on that one. I didn't want to attack the ship. There is a nobility to being a soldier. When I enter battle, I know I could be killed. I know that others will die at my hands, but that is what we must do. It is part of being a soldier. Civilians are not part of this unspoken agreement. They do not wake up each day and know in their hearts it could be their last. They should be out of bounds as targets for people like you and me. I do kind of agree. There is no honor in fighting someone who is unprepared to fight back. I regret I had orders to kill these civilians. More than that, I regret that I carried out those orders. What were your orders? I am a combat medic. Normally my task is to repair injuries of my fellow soldiers, but on this mission I was tasked with capturing civilians alive and fitting them with subspace cortical implants. Oh, we hit the jackpot here. These devices are barbaric even by our standards. We use them to obtain memories from the most obstinate of interrogation subjects. This particular implant has a subspace relay intended to capture and transmit these memories so that my superiors could sift through the secrets locked in their victims' minds, even as we moved on to implant more subjects. Why? What did you need so badly? I am not sure what exactly the commanders wanted to learn. I can only guess that my superiors wanted information that they felt could be held by any member of the Teferi population. The cortical implants were calibrated to bring long-term memories to the surface, even going back to the target's childhood. Perhaps they wanted to learn something that even a Teferi child might know. Would he know that his memories were being searched? Perhaps if they had the mental fortitude to recall the memories that were triggered during their interrogation. The pain can be quite intense. How do we remove it? The removal is a very delicate procedure, intended to be strong enough to survive interrogation, but too difficult to be removed by the subject or anyone else. But I've worked with these implants for some time. Have your doctors talk to me, and I will tell them what they need to do to remove them. Oh, I think that's a win. Successful interrogation. Let's give the doctor the good news. Well, the goodish news. Doctor, here's the news. This is just the information we needed. I'll round up a surgical team and we will begin the process of removing the implant immediately. I spent some time talking to the patient while you were in the brig. It sounded to me like the green implant was triggering memories from the patient's early childhood, many involving rhymes and songs. Most Deferi parents and grandparents sing to their children, tell them of stories of our past and traditions. A common theme in our songs is preservers. We sing of their travels through the universe, their efforts to maintain the balance of their great archive. My children are particularly fond of songs about the Preserver Archive, a hidden place where they left all their technology and records of ancient days. I think we have a winner. It's an interesting story, but I don't know if a place like that could actually exist. After all, we're talking about children's rhymes. Yeah, your thoughts are mine right there, Tobin. The Green must believe that this archive exists. There's no other explanation why they would target the Deferi civilians to get anniversary rhyme info. Before we leave, Train has requested to talk to me again. Now, how Tovin knew that, I'm not even going to ask. But, time to run all the way back to that brig. And here we are. Hello, Tran. Thank you for returning. I know that hoping you was the right thing to do, but because I did so, I could never return to the Green Confederacy. Therefore, I would like to request asylum. Much has happened between our races, but I see now that you are different. Perhaps it is time for a different sort of Green. I, however, am not alone in this request. There are a small group of Green that share my feelings. We know that attacking innocents is wrong. If you accept us, we would all like to join you. I will give you the information necessary to contact them. It may take some time before they are willing to respond. Your future actions will help speed up that process. We sent the communication, but he can't be sure it was received, so, all we got to do is wait. He is surprised that the brain is capable of reason. How prejudiced of you. He's surprised, but not going to complain. The Deferi have things under control. Are you ready to depart? I am. Okay. Do you know what was unique about that mission? Not a single weapon was fired. None. No combat, no fighting. Straight mission of mercy. That's almost unique in this game. I can't conveniently think of any other mission where you don't fire a ship weapon and you don't fire a personal weapon. I remember stories about the Preservers from my childhood, and of course we have ruins linked to them on Defera, but I've never heard of an intact Preserver installation. The Breen, however, are taking these stories quite seriously, and if the Breen manage to acquire Preserver-level technology, they could shift the balance of power in the entire Alpha Quadrant. It is lucky that you were able to establish a connection with Tran. I believe he was sent by the Powers to help maintain the balance in the galaxy, and I am grateful. I know your intelligence service has more questions for him, but after that, I promise I'll do what I can to see that he and any other Breen who disagree with their government's actions are not forgotten. One of your commanding officers was requesting to speak with you. You should consider meeting with them when you are done here. I'm not entirely sure if that was actually meant to mean something. I'm going to take that torpedo launcher. Now, fun fact, the green used to be a reward. I think it was a reward for this mission, that you get a green bridge officer. Now, these days in Mud's Market, you can get a number of rewards that were tied to these mission arcs. The full price here is 8,000 Zen, and it will be an account unlock. I'm pretty sure there are account unlocks. Because if they aren't, then it's even if they're not, it's an even bigger ripoff than it sounds. But it has the reward from this arc, which is the Breen Bridge Officer. The reward for the Romulan arc, which was a Riemann Bridge Officer. This was back when, again, the Romulan Republic wasn't a thing, so Riemans were not available at all. They were just Starfleet and Klingons. So this was a special bridge officer for that. And two of the other arcs that we'll be experiencing in the future had these two, which I will go into detail at that time. But not right now. Because right now we are at the 10 o'clock hour, and before we go, we're going to do a quick check to see if I got any specialization points on all of that. No, I went through all of that, but it didn't give me anywhere near enough XP to get another skill point. This doesn't surprise me over much because they probably never balanced. These aren't a part of the main mission chain anymore, where they award you lavishly with heaps of experience and stuff like that. So it's not surprising that they never bothered to update the experience of this, because they yanked it out of the chain. Don't bother with it anymore. Annoying, but hey, I'm okay with that. I'm at the max level right now. I don't really have a deep pressing need. So, with that, I believe we will continue the story of the Teferi next time. I'm going to go back to the Teferi sector so that I can at least pick up communications from the ambassador, and we'll see if Jiro has anything else to say after the hospital mission there. I'm going to make use of my quantum slipstream drive, cut down the travel time dramatically. Oh, there we go. Hit the brakes. Okay. Jiro, the Breen are looking for some sort of Teferi cultural legend. I don't know what the Breen hope to find, but it's clear that the Teferi in their region of space contains something that has piqued the Breen interest. It's moments like this that underscore the importance of the Prime Directive. If there are clues buried in the culture of the Teferi, then we must make sure that culture is preserved and protected from outside influences. Keep up the good work. Providing medical assistance and emergency relief underscore the Federation's core belief in friendly interactions between all cultures. Your continued aid will surely yield diplomatic ties. So hey, things are getting better. Next time we will be continuing the Cold War arc and delve into the deeper mysteries of the Preserver Archive. This will, of course, be next week, and even though it is the day before Thanksgiving, we will still be doing a stream. I'm usually I'm usually not traveling on Wednesday because that's nuts. Traffic is horrible. But I know a lot of people do, but with the current pandemic situation, I suspect that there will not be as much travel this year as previous years. So there will be a Star Trek Online stream next Wednesday, 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern to 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern. I also do a stream for Star Citizen on Saturdays from 1 p.m. Eastern to 3 p.m. Eastern. Come and take a look if you like seeing ships explode. Usually mine. Actually, it's less that they explode, it's more that the server explodes, but it doesn't matter. What matters is that I would like to thank you for watching. I'm glad you stopped by. This is Korath Landwalker, signing off.